Good evening. Welcome to the Township of Abington's Board of Commissioners meeting for Thursday, June the 9th, 2016, and may we have a roll call, please.
Here.
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 Here. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we start, I'd like to make an announcement that the Board of Commissioners held an executive session on Wednesday, June the 1st at 9 p.m. on a personnel and 2 litigation matters. At this time, we have presentations, and I'd like to first call on Commissioner Carol Gillespie.
Try and stand so we can all see Nick. This is a presentation to Nick Wacker, Nicholas Wacker. Troop 48. I think this is, Judy, well, how many Eagles are there? 93? How many are there? About 93 or 94? 94 Eagle Scouts in your troop. That is wonderful. And this is from the township to thank you for all that you have done, and talks about your chosen project, which was...
For my project, I built 2 bulletin boards in Grove Park in Abington. They're built to have a map and also to hold brochures for the park so people can get a better understanding of what the park is used for.
That's wonderful. We're proud of all the projects you do. And let's just say your chosen project was very important to Abington Township, and your team spirit and the bulletin boards in the park will be a great benefit to everyone, and we, the Board of Commissioners, appreciate all that you do, and join in your family, community leaders, friends, and fellow troop members of Troop 48 in extending our congratulations to you. Congratulations. And Judy, your parents, you want to introduce your parents? And your brother?
Carol, let him hold the microphone, please. Thank you.
My brother's an Eagle Scout also. He got it, how long ago? 2 years ago. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my parents. They really pushed me to get this far.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you, Nicholas, and to his parents and brother, thank you. And Commissioner Gillespie, thank you. At this time, I'd like to have a presentation made by Mr. Doug Wendell, Director of Parks and Recs.
Thank you, Mr. President. Back in 2002, Bruce Hoffman was hired as an Abington Park Ranger. He made his presence known immediately as on his regular patrols. Bruce would always somehow find a fire that nobody else would ever see, and he probably reported more fires during the time he was working as a park ranger than anyone before or since. His vast knowledge of the township also usually made him the first one on the scene anytime a park ranger was in need. He knew how to get to just about any place the quickest way possible. He was great that way. Bruce's supervisory skills were noticed by Ranger Sergeant Greg DeStefano. Bruce was promoted to corporal and took on the responsibilities of field training officer. He was the one that all of the new rangers went to about learning about our procedures and policies and how to find things in the township. As I said, he was great with that. His attention to detail when it came to following procedures is well known in the Ranger Squad, and they still talk about it. Bruce was also responsible for updating the Ranger Manual, which is a fairly big piece of work here, and as you can see from all these yellow pages, he worked on this to the day he passed. He has a lot of influence in the Rangers, and he was very dedicated to them and to helping us. In recognition of the respect that Bruce brought to the Park Rangers and his untimely passing, the Bureau of Parks and Recreation will be retiring his badge number. Park Ranger Corporal badge number 7 will be permanently displayed in the Bureau's main office. Tonight, I'd like to present to his daughter Heather, who's here in the audience, the display case that contains her father's badge, nameplate, and embroidered shoulder patch. The Bureau thanks Bruce for his service and thanks his family for sharing him with us for all those years. So I'd like to present this to Heather.
Wow,
Oh,
very
that's
nice.
awesome.
Thank you very much.
Hi. I wanted to say something, and then my mom wrote something. I wanted to say that my father was a wonderful father. He dedicated his life to the Ranger Department and the Fire Department. He was a very hard worker, and like I said, he dedicated his life to this township. My mom wanted to say, I want to thank Doug and the township commissioners for retiring Bruce's badge. He loved his work with the Rangers Department and the township of Abington. Anything he could do to make the township a little better place to live. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there. It is too hard for me. He has been gone for 5 months, and I cry every night. It's just so hard. Again, I want to thank Doug and all the Rangers and the township commissioners for this honor. He would feel honored.
Thank you, Heather.
And this is the first time that we've retired a badge, so it's an extra special honor for Bruce in that regard.
Thank you very much, Doug. I think it's very appropriate, and thank you for that. And Heather, please give our regards and respects to your mother. Thank you. And thank you also for the Wacker family. Thank you. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call on Vice President Stephen Klein for approval of the minutes, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the May 12, 2016 Board of Commissioner meeting minutes.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. At this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Tom Hecker, Director of the Public Works Committee.
Thank you, President Luker. The Public Works Committee has 10 items for consideration this evening. The first is PW1, and this is a motion to authorize township officials to accept a grant award from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, a 2015 Growing Greener Watershed Protection Grant in the amount of $186,000, with the township matching portion of $27,900 to be funded from MS4 funds under the 2015 capital budget, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff or residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. PW2, and this is a motion to approve and enter into contract with N. Abenizio Contractors Incorporated for the Highland Avenue Storm Sewer Project in the amount of $320,240 to be funded as follows. $95,000 will come from the 2014 bond, and $225,240 will come from fund balance, and I so move.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Any from residents? name and address, and
Laura Lehman, 1431 Bryant Lane. It was mentioned that N. Abenizio had backed out of the Old Welsh bids and projects after winning the bid. So there's a substantial cost, I'm sure, to us rebidding and redoing that. Is there some reason that we don't, that we're still using the contractor that does that? Did they have a valid reason for backing out of the Old Welsh Road? Or,
is this
They did not
a
back
question?
out the bid. We rejected the bids. The bids came in much higher than we anticipated.
Right.
Abenizio didn't do anything wrong.
all right.
Pure and
That
simple.
was phrased differently
Okay.
then. Okay, so that was rejected and just rebid.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from residents? Thank you, Solicitor, Mr. Solicitor. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion passes.
Thank you. PW3, and this is a motion to approve final payment for the 2014 bond issue Phase 1 Storm Sewer Project to Almeida and Hudak Contractors, LLC, in the amount of $69,805.64 to be funded from the 2014 bond issue, and I so move.
Second.
The motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Any questions from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion passes.
Thank you. PW4, this is a motion to approve final payment to Simone Collins Architecture in association with Traffic Planning and Design for the Township Master Bicycle Plan in the amount of $898.23 to be funded from account number 06-07-301-5305, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff and/or residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. PW5, this is a motion to accept the lowest responsive and responsible bid and to enter into a contract with Durstein Company, LLC, for the grit collection system for the wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $265,500 to be funded from capital account number 02-000-000-7459, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff or audience? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
PW6, and this is a discussion of recent negotiations with the EPA and the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection regarding the forthcoming agreement establishing lower treatment plant effluent limits for total phosphorus. And I'll turn to Mr. Wrigley. I mean, we covered most of this in the committee last
Most
week.
of it was. There's no new updates or anything to it yet. Our recent letter of our proposal back to DEP, they haven't responded to us yet. So
Okay. Do you-
probably another 2 or 3 weeks before we hear anything. So.
Okay.
Okay, there is no motion, so...
There's no motion, so
Okay.
we'll just move
Thank you.
forward.
Question? Yes, go ahead.
Laura Lehman, 1431 Bryant Lane. It was touched on several times by commissioners, and I think some of the people in the audience, that where this is coming from is significant. So this has been termed, an unfunded mandate that you're getting, and that's part of the problem. And so we're trying to lower the DEP and EPA expectations, am I right, in order to be able to meet them better. And part of the problem is that we don't have the funding. So if we know, for instance, that fertilizers and things like that and paving are causing the issue, the funding, there should be some motion somewhere, I would think, up towards Harrisburg to get funding based on taxes or something from what is the cause of the problem in the creeks, the phosphorus in the creeks. So is that something that we could consider doing? In other words, speak to Madeline Dean and speak to whoever else needs to be on board with that, to say, because otherwise, people are just going to buy more and more of it because it's cheap, put more and more of it into the creeks, and then everybody else has to pay to try and get it out, and clearly, we're having trouble getting it out. All right?
Thank you. Mr. Wrigley, you can take that point under consideration. Thank you.
Okay. PW7 has been deleted from this evening's agenda and will be taken up at a later date, so we will move on to PW8.
Why was that deleted?
We discussed this in committee last week, and the board was prepared to move ahead by motion to approve the agreement. After further review by the township solicitor and the county solicitor, it was determined it would be more appropriate to adopt it by ordinance. And rather than rush an ordinance through this evening, we wanted to vet it a little further, so we'll bring it back in July for the board to authorize the ordinance to be advertised with approval in August.
Thank you. That's my fault. Manager LaFever contacted me earlier today on this, so we should have had an explanation, so my apologies. Commissioner Hecker, move on.
Thank you. PW8. This is a motion to accept the federal fund appropriation of $200,000 through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Section 566 program for design and project development assistance to facilitate environmental infrastructure improvements to the Sandy Run watershed, and to approve a township match of $50,000 payable from MS4 funds contained in the engineering capital budget, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Any from residents? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. PW9. This is a motion to apply for a CMAQ grant in the amount of $975,245.75 for improvements to the Eastern Road Corridor, including new signal equipment and interconnection with the Eastern Road Corridor and Susquehanna Road Corridor, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff and residents?
Laura Lehman, 1431 Bryant Lane. Could you just tell me again what CMAQ is what? What CMAQ, where the grant is coming from, is what source?
Does anyone have that answer? Michael? Yes.
These are state and federal funds to reduce congestion mitigation, basically to improve air quality, and it's directed to the traffic signals on Eastern Road to interconnect that equipment. It's reaching the end of its useful life, so through this program we'll get our equipment updated, and our match will be able to be covered by in-house personnel assisting in the project.
Thank you.
Okay, so, all right. So, yeah, I think, one of the things that would be excellent is for us to understand where all the grants are coming from that come into the township. And the comment that was made last time about the grants, and we're wonderful because we get so many of them, it doesn't really work that way, because we are first a community, then we're a township, then we're a state, and when one bullies more than the other, somebody else always loses. And even though perhaps we get more, we were called somebody's rich uncle. I was in another township meeting, and they said, "Oh, Abington, our rich uncle." We have that reputation. We do get a lot of grants. We have the connections to get them. They don't always benefit the residents. The very person who brought that up may have grants that affect his commercial property, and that puts money in his profits, in his pockets and in his profits, but it doesn't necessarily benefit all of the people in Abington. So those are things that we need to really take a look at, and it's one of the things, the inequities across the board, that is putting America in difficulties. We have some.
Can I respond to that? First of all, the comment made towards me, I have never, in fact, received a grant on any of my projects ever, number one. Number two, if the grants don't come to us, they go to other townships. If you would rather the grants go to Upper Dublin and Horsham and other places like that, that's fine, but that's completely ridiculous. Thank you.
So our grant system.
Mr. Lehman, that's good.
Thank you.
I think we have a very talented staff that submits for these grants, so the fact that we get them should not be...
That was not how it works, and in fact, his property has had monies that were not
Okay,
from his pocket,
That's the end of the
but from
discussion.
ours.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Very briefly, and I will stick to very briefly. This actually pertains to two comments that the speaker made. One relates to the unfunded mandates. This is, in fact, how the system works. Is the system ideal? No, it's not. But the fact of the matter is, there is a grant system, and the grants do come ultimately from, collectively from taxpayer dollars, not exclusively, but at the state and federal level, many grants do come from taxpayer dollars. But we, as a municipality, and then our county and our Commonwealth, are faced with a lot of unfunded mandates on the federal level and on the state level. And sometimes the only way that we can make up for all that we have to spend out of pocket on those unfunded mandates is to have our team of really talented people put together very solid grants, not having anything to do with connections or who's an insider or who knows whom, but just really solid grants. And we get them, as Commissioner Markman said. If we don't get them, someone else will. Is the system ideal? No, but we must operate in reality. We have to operate in the system as it is.
And I would like these untrue, slanderous comments to be, if I received a grant, show me where I received a grant. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You are a slanderous liar.
Commissioner Markman, please. Thank you. That's the end of the discussion. Next agenda item.
I think we have to vote.
We have to vote.
We have to vote on PW.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next agenda item.
Thank you. PW 10. This is a motion to accept a Greenlight Go Grant Award in the amount of $25,308. The grant award will be for LED light improvements to our traffic signals. The $5,608 match will be taken from contingency fund number 01-01-002-5299, and I so move.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. PW 11. This is a motion to accept an ARLE grant in the amount of $314,400 for safety improvements to the intersection of Mount Carmel Avenue and North Hills Avenue, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners?
Wayne, I have a comment.
Yes, Commissioner Kowalski.
The other day, I don't know who I could ask this question to, the traffic planning and design of this intersection, would we be able to look at that closer, or is this, they've developed right-hand turns for the Pennsylvania Avenue and Mount Carmel Avenue. I guess some of my residents are more concerned about the left-hand turn there at Mount Carmel onto Station or North Hills, and the left-hand turn from Pennsylvania Avenue onto North Hills Avenue. So would that be something we would look at later, or?
I believe Mr. Michelow utilized the services of McCormick Taylor traffic engineers in the redesign of the intersection. Mr. Michelow obviously isn't here this evening to speak on that, but I will raise the issue with him next week, and we'll circle back to the traffic engineer and obviously get their input on those two movements.
Because I'd said to some of the residents, it's possibly the way they're going to design the lights there at the intersection, because there's no, all the new traffic lights patterns will be there, but they're both right-hand turns, and there was an emphasis more on a left-hand turn coming out of those intersections.
Understood.
Okay. All right, any other comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Any from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, President Luker. That concludes the business of the Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Commissioner Hecker. Commissioner Sanchez, Director of Code Enforcement Land Development.
Thank you, Mr. President. This evening, we have CE1 Subdivision SD 1604, Kurt and Donna Werner and Joseph and Betsy Schofield, 1943 and 1935 Acorn Lane, Abington, PA. This is a motion to approve the subdivision application of Kurt and Donna Werner and Joseph and Betsy Schofield, owners of the properties located at 1943 and 1935 Acorn Lane, Abington, PA. The applicants propose to relocate the shared property line, adding 11,130 square feet to 1943 Acorn Lane. 1935 Acorn Lane will be decreased in lot area from 38,063 square feet to 26,933 square feet in size, and the 1943 Acorn Lane property will increase in size from 31,819 square feet to 42,949 square feet. No construction is proposed, and no new building lots will be created by this application. The properties are zoned in the R3 Residential District in Ward Number 10 of the Township of Abington, and the motion is subject to conditions and waivers as listed in the agenda, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Any from residents? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
Mr. President, that concludes the business of the Code Enforcement and Land Development Committee for this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez. At this time, Commissioner Laurie Shriver, Director of Public Safety.
Thank you, Commissioner Luker. And I want to say we are now battling Public Works as the longest agenda with 10 items this evening. So, PS1 is a motion to appoint candidate Joseph Marrero from the Certified Civil Service Eligibility List to the position of probationary police officer, provided he successfully completes the background, physical, and psychological tests and all entry requirements of the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission for Act 120 training effective July 11th, 2016, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff or residents? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
PS2 is a motion to appoint candidate Robert Steck from the Certified Civil Service Eligibility List to the position of probationary police officer, provided he successfully completes the background, physical, and psychological test and all entry requirements of the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission for Act 120 training effective July 11th, 2016, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Comments from residents? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
PS3 is a motion to appoint candidate Daniel Brown from the Certified Civil Service Eligibility List to the position of probationary police officer, provided he successfully completes the background, physical, and psychological tests and all entry requirements of the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission for Act 120 training effective July 11th, 2016. And I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff or residents? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
PS4 is a motion to authorize up to $25,000 from the contingency funds to cover the cost of the 2016 sergeant's test, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff and/or residents? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
PS5 is a motion to adopt ordinance number 2119, amending Chapter 156, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Traffic Regulations, Section 14, Stop Intersections, and Article 3, Parking Regulations, Section 25, Parking Prohibited at all times, no parking between signs, no parking here to corner, parking prohibited except certain hours, no stopping or standing, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Commissioner Hecker.
Thank you, President Luker. I said this briefly at the committee meeting, but I just wanted to reiterate my gratitude both to the township staff and to my fellow commissioners for working with me to help make Rockwell Road safer for all who live and walk that way. And we're one step closer with this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hecker. Any other comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Any from residents? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
PS6 is a motion to advertise ordinance number 2120, amending Chapter 156, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Traffic Regulations, Section 9, One-Way Highways Established, Section 9.1, Do Not Enter Signs, and Article 3, Parking Regulations, Section 25, Parking Prohibited at all times, no parking between signs, no parking here to corner, parking prohibited except certain hours, no stopping or standing, Section 28, special purpose parking zones, for adoption at the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Commissioners on July 14th, 2016 at 7:30 p.m., and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Any comments from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
PS7 is a motion to authorize up to $13,000 from contingency funds to cover the cost of the electrical upgrades needed to convert the Abington Junior High School gymnasium into a township warming center in the event of a widespread power outage, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Any from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
PS8 is a motion to appoint candidate Jordan Jones from the Certified Civil Service Eligibility List to the position of probationary police officer, provided he successfully completes the background, physical, and psychological tests and all entry requirements of the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission for Act 120 training. Appointment will be effective July 11th, 2016, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Everyone received emails from Michael Lefevre going over this. Okay, any comments on that? None? Okay, good. Any from staff or audience? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
PS9 is a motion to appoint candidate Michael Jones, Jr. from the Certified Civil Service Eligibility List to the position of probationary police officer, provided he successfully completes the background, physical, and psychological tests and all entry requirements of the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission for Act 120 training. Appointment will be effective July 11th, 2016, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any comments from staff or audience? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
And PS10 is a motion to appoint candidate Song Yun from the Certified Civil Service Eligibility List to the position of probationary police officer, provided he successfully completes the background, physical, and psychological tests and all entry requirements of the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission for Act 120 training. Appointment will be effective July 11th, 2016, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any comments from staff and/or audience? If there are none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
And that concludes our agenda this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Shriver. At this time, Commissioner John Spiegelman, Director of Public Affairs.
Thank you very much, President Luker. We have a relatively brisk public affairs agenda tonight. Item PA1 has been deleted, so that's a good start. Item PA2 is a motion to approve the Penn State Abington permit fee agreement memorializing the college's financial obligations related to the student housing project, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any comments from staff? And any comments from residents?
Laura Lehman, 1431 Bryant Lane. The $100,000 that is the annual impact fee, is that
That's the next item.
completely
one.
separate from the in lieu of taxes that they pay? They pay in lieu of taxes separately, or is this part of their in lieu of taxes?
Did you want to answer that, Michael?
Penn State does not pay in lieu of fees or taxes to the township. The $100,000 contribution is their only direct financial payment to the township.
Oh, didn't they used to pay?
No.
No.
in lieu?
No, they have
So
not.
only the hospital pays in lieu of?
Both hospitals.
Both hospitals.
Both hospitals
Both
and
hospitals.
Rydell Park as well.
And Rydell Park, okay. So here's my problem with this. So first of all, Penn State probably should be paying in lieu of taxes.
no means to compel them
And
to do
then
so.
this was intended as an impact fee, but the impact is defraying only their own expenses. Okay, so that's a concern. So if I paid taxes, for instance, and said, well, you could only use them on my driveway, okay? You could only use them improving the area in front of my house. Okay, that's, so the impact fee of Penn State is felt throughout the township, and also the benefits to Penn State. So we have the scholarship, we have police overtime, which I assume they use. Is this what they expect to use, or is this a portion towards the police overtime that they use? Do we know?
No, I don't know that. I don't know if the chief would want to answer that. Your questions are, I think,
Well, my concern...
really don't pertain to what we're discussing here.
Yeah, well,
These
my
are just your
concern
opinions.
is that they're paying an impact fee, but they're only really paying what impacts them. And so...
Well, these are just your personal opinions,
Emergency
so-
management, they already were paying, I think, half of emergency management, weren't they, of the personnel? So is this emergency management resources?
I don't think this is a debate or a conversation that we need to have. These are just your personal opinions, and I think this is something that
Okay.
we discussed at the committee level.
So my personal opinion, and the scholarships, of course, they go back to Penn State. So that money goes right back to Penn State. So they're not really, you know, if you pay $30,000 in scholarship, $10,000 in the athletic field maintenance, which I think they had to pay anyhow. The emergency management, I think they were paying half of the emergency management with personnel, and then there are certainly other costs. Police overtime, if they incur that fee, are they
Well,
not
your 3 minutes are
required
up,
to pay
Mrs.
it?
Lehman, but I think this is a good agreement, but your opinions, you're entitled to those. so
Yeah, my
that's fine.
opinion is that we do actually need to have more from the even the school as a nonprofit has a very, very robust financial bottom line.
Okay.
Including when you looked at, when all of the hubbub happened, many people started looking at how much went into the football program. for
Okay, thank you very
instance.
much for your comments.
Okay, so it's a concern that the hospitals, which are very large, expanding everywhere, but using resources that come out of our pockets.
Okay,
That's a
we
concern.
understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from residents?
President Luker, can I ask a
Yes,
question
sir.
of the manager? Manager LaFever, it's my understanding that the Penn State is actually not compelled to pay the township anything. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. And this agreement memorializes payments they have been making in the past with the addition to the scholarship program, the additional $30,000. But they're under no obligation whatsoever to pay us anything. And while everyone in this room might agree that it would be nice if we receive payments in lieu of taxes, we have no actual leverage to force them to do so. And this is a policy decision that comes out of University Park, not the Abington campus.
Right. Thank you.
So this is a good agreement, so with that, I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
Item PA3. This is a motion to approve the Penn State Abington Impact Fee Agreement memorializing the college's annual contribution of $100,000 to the township reflective of its impact on the community, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Any comments from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
And finally, we have PA4. This is a motion to approve participation in the Montgomery County Consortium intergovernmental cooperative effort in retaining the services of the Cohen's Law Group to assist with franchise renewal negotiations with Verizon Pennsylvania Incorporated with our initial payment from 2016 contingency funds, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Any comments from residents? Name and address, please.
Laura Lehman, 1431 Bryant Lane. When you negotiate that agreement, will you negotiate something for the camera that will put a small scroll on the bottom so that it's not across everybody's faces while they're talking? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
Mr. President, that respectfully concludes the public affairs agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner Spiegelman. At this time, Vice President Stephen Klein, Director of the Finance Committee.
There will be no treasurer's report tonight. The report is on record at the Township Manager's Office for public's review. FC1, motion to A, approve the April expenditures as previously circulated to the board in the amount of $2,733,058.22 in salaries and wages in the amount of $2,618,957.11, and B, authorize the proper officials to sign vouchers in payment of bills and contracts as they mature through the month of July 2016, and I so move.
Second.
We moved and seconded. We have a roll call, please.
Commissioners Spillier. Spiegelman.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Yes.
Connors. Yes. Martin.
Yes.
Schreiber. Yes. Bowman.
Yes.
Placido.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Gillespie.
Yes.
Hecker.
Yes.
Kalinowski.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Yes.
FC2, motion to approve the advance and travel expense activity for April 2016 as previously circulated to the board. Advance and travel expense reports were $0 and $4,692.15 respectively. 4-month expenses totaled $16,325.52, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Any comments from the audience? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
FC3, motion to approve the clearing fund, the deferred revenue, expense activity, and petty cash balances for the month of April as previously circulated to the board. Clearing fund receipts and disbursements for the month of March 2016 were $906.49 and $2,015.35 respectively. Deferred revenue, expense receipts, and disbursements for the month of April 2016 were $1,542.50 and $1,542.50 respectively. Is that correct, that they were the same number?
I'm sorry.
I don't remember them being the same number. Is that correct, that they're the same number?
As far as I know, they're the same number.
When that happens at Trader Joe's, you get a free item.
And I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any comments from staff or audience? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
That concludes my agenda.
Thank you, Vice President Stephen Klein. That concludes our formal agenda. So at this time, any comments from residents? Be kindly adhere to the 3-minute speaking.
Laura Lehman,
Limit.
1431 Bryant Lane. So our grant system is broken, and you are legislators. Those are two things that I wish you would recognize. So I sat in this very room when somebody at a committee meeting said, I can get a grant if you can think of a project for it. Okay, I think everybody knows that across this country, there is not enough money for infrastructure, for the things that are really totally needed. And it is your job, when it doesn't work, commissioners, to make it work right, when you see that it's not working. And that's why I stand here, so you can see there are things that are not working, and they start in this township where you hear from the residents, and if you can't fix it on this local level, then you need to take it up to the next level and fix it. So when you have a whole bunch of transportation grants, but what you really need is flooding improvements, you have to figure out how to fix that system that's not working right. And that we need to have priorities for the limited funds that we have. And the money has to funnel down somehow for priorities. So what we're saying is it's an imperfect system, but we've figured out how to ace it. Well, it's the people who have figured out how to ace that system that are causing the problems, okay? That other people who haven't figured out how to ace the system aren't getting their share. And all of it is coming from the pockets of some people, which you understand that if I own a shopping center or if I own a business and you got a grant for a business, I win. But that comes out of the pockets of many, many people who are teachers and plumbers, and they don't have any ability. They do a daily job and get paid by a boss, and they don't have any ability to do anything but pay that grant that you accept and receive the benefit of. So the blighted houses where we use our grant money to reward the landlords who have let their properties go and actually made things worse for other people. So we do need to change it. You need to understand that when you hear from this podium something's not working, you need to do something about it.
Okay, thank you for your
Okay?
comments.
And the other comment that I'd like to make, and you know what, I'll save
Could
that.
you make
for
it
next
quickly,
time.
Mrs. Lehman? Your 3
Yeah,
minutes are up.
Thank you for letting me, but I'll save it for next time.
Thank you. Any other comments from residents? Nathan? Yes, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Nathan Vasserman, 130 Church Road. Just a question about PA4. It already passed, but did the franchise agreements with Verizon have anything to do with them running any more FiOS to any of the, they did like half the townships? Have they said if they're going to do that, or is that not even part of the agreement?
That was covered during the committee meetings. You can contact the manager and find out.
You good with that? Okay. All right. At this time, any other comments from residents? Mr. Bell, please.
Raymond Bell, 2076 Parkview Avenue. I just want to say that I can respect people's opinion and to talk about disagreement, but I think that what I'm seeing and other people see on television may be discouraging people to come here. While I don't give the speakers, whether they agree or disagree with that speaker, and certainly have accusations that are public and made public on television, I think that we have to draw back a little bit and do a better job at listening. But more importantly, I don't want to. I could sit up here and say, "Well, look, I disagree with my ward commissioner." And he does this or he does that, right? I'm going to say that, but when I say, he's committing something that is illegal, that's kind of stepping over the line, in my opinion. So let me just say this: that I don't want to limit anyone's ability to have freedom of speech. I serve this country to preserve that, and I'll preserve it all the time. My personality is very friendly, as you well know, and it is, Commissioner. But I would like to just say we need to take a step back and be a little bit more civil to each other. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much for your comments, Mr. Bell. Any other comments from residents? If there are none, I'll turn it over to closing comments from commissioners, starting with Commissioner Zapone. Commissioner Spiegelman.
Yes, Mr. President, just want to remind everybody that not this Saturday, but next Saturday, that is June 18th, we have the only county household hazardous waste collection that is happening in Abington Township. It is happening at the junior high from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and you can look on the county website to see what is and isn't acceptable to bring, but that's a very, very useful collection. And just briefly, to speak on the topic of grants, very briefly. It is true that it is important, I think, to lobby when we see something that isn't working or isn't correct, to lobby up the chain, to lobby at the state level and our federal representatives. I mean, that's what they're there for, and we are in as good a position to advocate for certain changes as anyone. But with regard to grants, it is irresponsible in a world in which we have certain responsibilities and certain accountability. It is irresponsible for us to go on a de facto hunger strike of grants and boycott the grant system because we think we're standing on some principle. That is a massive disservice to the people that we serve. It is a massive disservice to the taxpayers and disregard for the rate of taxes that they pay, that we set every year, and it undermines the very infrastructure we were just discussing. Those are my thoughts, and happy Father's Day to all the dads of all kinds in Ward 11 and beyond.
Thank you, Commissioner Spiegelman. Commissioner Sanchez.
No comment this evening. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Commissioner Rothman.
Yes, just one comment. I would like to invite the community to a carnival that's going to be taking place in Ward 3. June 22nd is a Wednesday, runs through Saturday, June 25th. The weeknight times are 6 till 10 p.m., and on Saturday, June 25th, will be 4 to 10 p.m. at St. Basil's Academy. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Myers.
Thank you.
I would also like to invite everyone to a Abington Pal dinner on Monday, June 20th. If you happen to forget Father's Day, you can make it up on that Monday night. This dinner at Bonnet Lane Family Restaurant benefits Pal, and we're going to have a wonderful time from 4 to 8. No reservations, just come and bring the family.
Thank you, Commissioner Myers. Commissioner Markman.
No comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Markman. Commissioner Schreiber.
Thank you. I want to remind everybody, I don't know if this will be on TV in time, that's the only thing, but it will. Okay. The 11th Annual Roslyn Pet Fair. This is going to be truly the biggest one we've ever had. We usually have about, 25, 26 vendors. We're up to about 35, where somebody was just saying if anybody else applies, we're going to have to put them up on the roof of the church. So get your ladders to go see them. The church is the Church of the Living Word, 1250 Easton Road in Roslyn. The team that has put this together have worked extra hard. There's things for kids to do. There's games. There's face painting. There's a pony and a goat that they can pet, so there's things for kids. There's animals for rescue, so you can come adopt a pet. There's, I think, more rescues than ever before. We have raffles and the different games. All the money proceeds go to animal rescue. So it's a great event. If you've never been there before, this is the year to go. And I also wanted to thank the township staff that has helped work on this as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Schreiber. Commissioner Bowman.
I wanted to thank the members of the Roslyn Day Committee, especially Ed Michelow, his family, Commissioner Peggy Myers, and Commissioner Schreiber, and the other members who gave us a nice day in Roslyn on May 21st, the rain date, and it was a great day, and we'll have it again next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner DePlacido.
Thank you, President Luker. I just received some bad news. Our East Abington softball juniors teams, that's the 11 to 13-year-olds, they just lost to Plymouth Meeting in the league championship, 10 to 8. And coach is dealing with some sobbing right now, but I think he'll make it through. I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank Abington residents for coming out to the Ardsley Community Center and helping the group Angels in Motion in help packing food bags and what they call blessing bags for the homeless in the greater Philadelphia area and those who are addicted to opioids and heroin. They packed about 300 bags, I think, or over 300 bags total. So thank you, Abington, for coming out, and thank you, Ardsley, for coming out. And as always, when driving through Abington, please drive like your kids live here.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Farron.
Thank you, President Luker. Just a couple comments. I want to start by congratulating some of our schools and our children in Abington. That's a tough loss tonight for the girl. But St. Luke's CYO, 6th grade, won the championship just last night, so I want to congratulate them for winning the CYO baseball championship. St. Joseph the Protector had a green family fun night the other night. We had Abington EAC show up. Briarbush was there. There was a honey conglomerate there. Kids learned about composting and how to do recycling and reusable energy sources. PGW was out there, and getting the kids at an early age. It was a well-attended event, and the kids were into it, and I think that's important, especially given what's going on in the world in general. Our Abington Senior High School, our Special Olympics, won the gold medal, and I want to congratulate all of them for winning that. And then McKinley Elementary School. As a language teacher, I'm a little biased towards the liberal arts, and STEM has been the push for the past 25 years, right? Science, technology, engineering, and math, and all that's very important. But we're starting to find out, and unfortunately in education trends sometimes take 15 or 20 years to come to fruition, the value of some of those liberal arts. So McKinley Elementary is instituting a STEAM program, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And the idea that the arts are such an important part of our development for our kids in terms of not just their cognitive and academic benefits, but their empathy and how they are as people. And I think that's something commendable for McKinley Elementary. So I want to congratulate all of our schools and our kids. This Saturday is a very busy day. We have our Roslyn Pet Fair. In Glenside, we have our Run with Pride 5K kicking off with a little kids dash at 8:30. Kids 5 and under will be running about a block and a half to see who's the fastest 5, 6, and 4-year-old. And then at 9 o'clock is the 5K. If you want to come on out, love to race against you. And then that day we have GYAC is having their closing ceremonies day. The rain this spring, our mini Seattle adventure, has pushed back a lot of their activities. So they're having a little ceremony on Saturday at 1 o'clock at Glenside Weldon, with the big kicker being cow chip bingo. There will be a cow in the field with chips. So come on out and enjoy that as well. We have our Glenside Gardens Community Yard Sale. It's a very popular event. It happens every year. Get there early. It's packed. A lot of great deals, a lot of great people. And there's a closing little party there at Fern Road and Pleasant Avenue at the end of the night, about 6 o'clock. And then Saturday, June 18th, we had another tragedy in Glenside a couple months ago. Mike Hensley, who's been a fan favorite, I think we talked about him, passed away. And there's an organization called Brave Hearts, Strong Minds that tries to support the children of parents who've passed away. And so Maya and Sully, who are friends with our kids, and we know the family are great people, this is going to benefit them this year. They've been selected this year to be the beneficiaries of this race, this walk for the community. So June 18th at LaSalle High School, Brave Hearts and Strong Minds, come on out. And just lastly, I want to thank staff, whether I've worked with either the ladies and gentlemen at the tables tonight or people in your departments. It's been very busy the past couple of weeks, so please pass along my thanks to everybody in the department. They've been phenomenally great, and it's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Farron. Commissioner Gillespie.
Thank you. Just real quickly, at our committee meeting, we recognized the second alarmers, and I just thought I wanted to remind everybody what a great job they do and that they're always there for us. So kudos to the second alarmers.
Thank you. Commissioner Hecker.
Thank you, President Luker. Our Township Public Works Department will be sponsoring its next Anything with a Plug electronics collection on Saturday, June 25th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Township Yards. And after you get rid of your old TV, maybe a waffle iron or a decrepit fax machine, you can treat yourself and cool off at the fine Township pools, which I believe open on Saturday, June 25th, Penbryn and Crestmont. 11 a.m. So get to Flory Lane early and get over to Penbryn or Crestmont by 11. Just a quick congratulations to all of our graduates in the township during this season of graduation, and a happy Father's Day to all the fathers in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hecker. Commissioner Kalinowski.
Yeah, real quick, I'd like to thank the residents, the commissioners that showed up at the meeting on Monday night. Our town hall meeting was very successful. Thank you to Deputy John Livingood and the several police officers that attended. Our public safety meeting was great. Thanks, John. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Commissioner Vice President Klein.
No comment.
Okay, thank you, sir. And lastly, thank you, Commissioner Kalinowski. That was a fine meeting, and thank you to the Police Department for that very enlightening discussion on a neighborhood problem, in Commissioner Kalinowski's word. Lastly, I just want to wrap it up by saying I want to target a couple employees that work for our Director of Code Enforcement, Mr. Larry Mateo, Jim Salonik and Sean Littlefield. These are guys that don't come to these meetings, but they're very active and they do a lot of work in the issuing of letters and citations to residents for code-related issues, specifically property maintenance. And it never ceases to amaze me why people have to wait to get a letter from these gentlemen to do what most things are considered just common sense items like cutting grass, removal of trash around your property, and just property maintenance-related issues. But they're inundated with springtime and summer issuance of letters, and it just ceases to amaze me why they have to go through so much arm twisting to get people to do what's just common sense. So thank you for both of those gentlemen. And lastly, involves Aqua. About a month or so ago, a constituent of mine posted on Facebook a very nice congratulatory message regarding her specific needs daughter receiving assistance from a worker on site. Now, she described the worker as being very helpful and courteous, and she thought it was a Aqua employee. So apparently Aqua pays attention and monitors these Facebook postings, and once they saw this on Facebook, it just propelled right up to the director of Aqua, and it was passed on to the president of Aqua, located in Bryn Mawr, I believe. And he, in turn, called the Eastern Montgomery County manager, trying to locate who this employee was that received such a complimentary posting on Facebook. So they went up and down the ladder and eventually went back to the location and asked the workers so they could give this employee some recognition. Well, after, I guess, a couple hours of this, it comes to find out that the employee they wanted to recognize was not an Aqua employee, but was one of our employees, none other than Tim Clark from our engineering department. So, Mike, I just wanted to thank you. Tim, I said I was going to hold off a month to see if Aqua sent us a letter congratulating Tim on what he did, but apparently he helped this mother with her special needs child traverse a work site to get home from a school bus. So I just wanted to send some kudos out to Tim for what he did. Marvelous job, and Aqua, I think maybe contacted you about this, but he deserves some special attention. He does a good job when he's out in the field, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, so if there's any other business, I will thank all for attending this evening, and with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
No.